Hello everybody, welcome back to the Good Skin channel. Welcome back to BREAKOUT because we've not changed that name yet. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do about this, but guys, I don't know, the name of my channel means a lot to me because I don't want to be stuck in just being known as the person who only talks about skincare. So I feel like the Good Skin channel makes me stuck as the person who only talks about skincare, and I feel like BREAKOUT doesn't really go with all the beauty and lifestyle and skin that I want to talk about on my channel. So it just feels like, can I please just decide on a name? So I did a vote, a poll the other day on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can check out my description box, and I have all my social media links in there, and just check out there and you can join the polls and all of that. But I asked Instagram, what should I call my name? What should I call my name? And Instagram said I should call my name Skin, Beauty and Life with K, which sounds good, but it's quite a mouthful. Imagine me opening the channel and going Skin, Beauty and Life with K. I don't know, I might just call it K. You know, but anyways, I don't want to confuse you with that. So today I want to talk about everything sunscreen. Let me just get comfortable. As you can see, my skin is bare because when we do skincare videos, we want to have the skin bare so that you can see the progress and that you can see that you can also improve on the skin that you have. Please don't feel like you can't have good skin. Everyone can have good skin with the right helps, the right guidance, and the right ingredients and the right products, or products that could almost be right. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and join the gang, the Good Skin gang. And yeah, I post about skincare, I post videos about my life, I post a whole lot of things. The way that I wanted to talk about sunscreen is that I wanted to touch on the cultural aspect of why black and brown people view sunscreen the way that they do, and then I wanted to touch on the different types of sunscreen and the strength level of the sunscreen, and I wanted to touch on just words and things that you guys have used that you're asking me what does this mean. And I also wanted to sort of bust some myths that exist out there about sunscreen, which are not completely true but are complicated. They're complicated myths when it comes to sunscreen. So I think that where we're gonna begin with sunscreen is by saying that everybody needs it. Whether you're black, brown, yellow, green, purple, everybody needs sunscreen as long as the sun reaches your planet. Okay, so I did make some notes. I have some notes with me that I'm gonna use today. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have these with me and I wrote down some stuff that I wanted to talk about and touch on during the video. We want to make sure that we are researching, we want to make sure that we are giving you information that is accurate and fair. What is sunscreen? Sunscreen is basically a product, usually in the forms of a cream or an oil, that protects your skin from ultraviolet lights. And there are two types of sunscreen. There's a chemical sunscreen, which is my favorite, and then there's physical sunscreen, which is not really my favorite, but I wouldn't mind using it on my body. Chemical sunscreen is the one that doesn't leave the white cast on your skin, while the physical sunscreen is the one that leaves white cast. I wanted to show you. So this is an oil form of sunscreen, and then this is a cream form, and also that's cream form. And those are the different types of sunscreen that I personally use. Chemical sunscreen, like I said, absorbs into the skin, and then so chemical sunscreen absorbs UV rays as well, and it converts the rays into heat and it releases them from the body. Physical sunscreen sits on top of the skin, so it doesn't get absorbed into the skin, and it reflects the sun rays. So it's like a mirror, you know, like a mirror, the light reflects, so it would do like the same thing. I prefer to use chemical sunscreen because it's easily absorbed and I don't get to have that white cast on my face. Another question that I've really been asked is what is the difference between UVA and UVB? Ultraviolet A, which is UVA, ultraviolet B, which is UVB. So the way that I'd like for you to think about it is that ultraviolet A is the one that causes skin aging or early aging or aging in skin. B is the one that is associated with burning the skin. But then you need to always remember that there isn't a sunscreen that will 100% protect you, which is why the 100% SPF is really void. So dermatologists will always suggest that we use SPF 30 to SPF 50 because those are the ones that are the most efficient in protecting us. So I think that that's where I wanted us to begin class. I think that that's where I wanted us to start, so that we understand what is the difference between UV and UVB, what is the difference between a chemical and physical sunscreen, and those two differences are very, very important to understand before we delve even deeper, which is why I'm not gonna then talk about ingredients today, what ingredients are here, because I feel like when you give too much information, people can get confused. So it's better that we start from the basics. So now that you understand what sunscreen is, I'm going to tell you a few myths, and then I'm gonna tell you how I apply my sunscreen. I have listed 5 myths which stand out to me from my conversations with you guys on Instagram or Facebook, in my DMs and all of that, because those are the things that you guys seem to struggle to understand or seem to believe because you've seen it somewhere on the internet or you've heard it from somebody. So number 5, I don't need sunscreen because it's winter and it's cloudy. That is not true. Like I've explained to you, UV, ultraviolet lights, they make it through whether there's a cloud or whether there's a storm, as long as it's during the day and the sun is out shining somewhere, you know, it's gonna make it through. What I mean is that if it's midday and it's cloudy and all of that, and the sun is out and it's bright, it's during the day, that means that it's gonna make it through. So you still need to apply your sunscreen in winter. You still need to apply your sunscreen if it's raining. You still need to apply your sunscreen if it's snowing. You still need to apply your sunscreen if it's freezing cold. You have to apply your sunscreen. You have to apply it, okay? Even when you're inside the house, you need to apply your sunscreen. Myth number 4 is that sunscreen is not good for oily skin. It makes me break out. This is not true. There are many brands out there that are creating sunscreen that are perfect for acne and oily, I would say for oily and acne prone skin. So you can find products that are good for you. So like the Eucerin Dry Touch is a very good product that you can use, that I have used while I am treating my acne. Even though you have oily skin and you are tempted on skipping sunscreen, please don't do it. Like I always explain to you, when your skin is dry, your skin will produce more oil because it's a protective mechanism. The sunburn will dry out your surface oils, and this is gonna like over-activate your sebaceous glands. So you don't want to skip on the sunscreen because it's also keeping you from having more oily skin. I hope that that is making sense to somebody. Any level of SPF is good enough. So guys, SPF levels is not equal. SPF 15 and SPF 30 are not equal. And just because your face cream has SPF 15 does not mean you cannot add sunscreen on top of it. And just because your makeup has SPF 15 does not mean you cannot add it in there. And personally, even if there was a face cream that has SPF 50, I was still going to apply more SPF on top because I am trying to protect my skin. So please don't skip out on the sunscreen just because you've put on makeup that has sunscreen. And any level of SPF is not good enough. You will always be safe between 30 and 50. That is the safety range. So 15 does nothing, and then above 50 is useless. It does absolutely nothing as well. So like I explained earlier, there isn't a sunscreen that can like provide you with protection 100%. Most sunscreen usually protects you for 97%. So you just also need to just have that in mind. So ideally, you should apply sunscreen at least 30 minutes before you step outside of the house, which is what is recommended. To be honest, it's true that wearing sunscreen is better, any sunscreen is better than not wearing anything at all. But it is better and safer for you to remember that between 30 and 50 it is the safest range for you to use a sunscreen. And this applies to every skin tone, whether you're black, white, yellow, green, purple, whatever skin tone you have, that still applies to you. So choose a broad spectrum sunscreen that covers you between 30 and 50 SPF. So for number 2 is that I don't need sunscreen when I'm at home. The winter that just passed us while we're in lockdown, a lot of people were writing to me saying, but we're not going anywhere, we're staying inside the house, I'm not going to the store, I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting inside the house. Do I need to apply sunscreen? Yes, you do need to apply sunscreen, because again, it goes back to what I explained. Ultraviolet light still make it through our windows. So the windows that we have at home, the ones that we have in the car and all of that, they are made to sort of give us some sort of protection, but it isn't 100% protection, and you'd rather be safe than sorry. Even if you are inside the house, you're not going anywhere, or you're inside the car, you still run the risk of being exposed to ultraviolet lights. So it's just better to protect yourself at home, anywhere. Just apply your sunscreen and just be safe. This is like a silly joke, and it's like a silly thing to say, but it's those people who make excuses for condoms. Okay, it's those people like, no, but I don't need the condom if, I don't need the condom if, I don't need the condom that. You need a condom. You need protection. You need to protect yourself. I think this is the only way that I can put it in people's minds how important it is. There's no excuse that I'm not gonna wear a condom because maybe he doesn't have an STD, or maybe she doesn't have an STI, or maybe you don't know whether this person has, you don't know whether you're gonna fall pregnant or whatever. So rather be safe than sorry. You're gonna use protection, you're gonna use a condom. This is how you need to be thinking about sunscreen. I think that this is the only way that I can let this penetrate into people's heads. The number one point, which is something that affects black and brown people, people of color, historically, because of where we're coming from, is the saying that black people don't need sunscreen. Guys, this is absolutely not true, and the unfortunate thing is that black people and brown people were not included before. We've only been considered in the beauty and skincare industry and medical industry for the past couple of decades, and not a lot of products were thought to have been made for us, or we were put in mind, or anybody was thinking about us. And a lot of statistics as well, we fall short on that. There are people with certain skin tones that believe that there's SPF 13 in their skin because of melanin. And yeah, it could be true, and which is why the topic of black people don't need sunscreen is a little bit of a controversial and a little bit of a confusing topic, because we are protected because of the melanin, but we're not 100% protected. And like I said, SPF 13 is also not enough, and for that SPF 13 you have to be quite dark. For someone like me, I cannot be walking around and saying that I have SPF 13 in my skin because I have melanin. And people in the old days, we say now black don't crack, but people in the old days said black don't burn, because that's the attitude and the mindset that we've had about sunscreen, and it's just really wrong, and it doesn't benefit us in any way. So there's a lot of research out there that even had a lot of people in medicine, a lot of people in aesthetics and cosmetics believing that black people are immune to sunburns and black people are immune to the effect that sunburn has on our skin, and this is untrue, and it's very unfair that where we come from, this also follows us. But we need to sort of bring our minds and our brains back to believing and trusting that we actually need sunscreen. Can a black person be more prone to cancer than a white person because of the sun? I don't know. That's something that I'll have to really research, but I've seen some people say no, black people are more prone to skin cancer, white people are less because they use sunscreen and we did it, and then others say that we are less prone because we have melanin and then they don't. So it's like a very confusing thing when you're out there researching about the topic. So even though skin cancer is less prevalent, I think that's the word, in our community, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It doesn't mean that we don't get affected. It's just that maybe it's more in the other community because they had access to statistics. They had somebody looking at how is it that it works for their ethnicity much more than for us. But then we do have cases where black people have skin cancer. I think that the power of melanin is honestly overestimated, and saying that black people don't need sunscreen is something that is self-destructing. It's a lie. It is not true. We do need sunscreen, and I'm gonna link below some topics and some links. You guys can go and just do your own reading at home of something, of some pieces and things that I've read that I have enjoyed on the subject of skin and sunscreen, so that you can read. So it's gonna be in the description box at the bottom. Now that I've busted my 5 myths that I get from you, and I've also explained and educated you on what sunscreen is, I'm going to show you how is it that I apply my sunscreen. Like I said, I have different types of sunscreen with me, and I usually use the oil control one from Eucerin every single day, but it's run out, and I'm currently trying out the Even Pigment Perfector, which is for uneven skin tone, and it's a sun fluid, which I've also been enjoying. And you are supposed to be spraying sunscreen on every time you're out there, because it's never enough. But I don't do it, and it's a habit that I need to get. And also I still have to find a sunscreen I can spray on top of my makeup, and a lot of you have asked me this question as well. But then I use the Vichy Ideal Soleil. It's a hydrating sunscreen. I use this on my body because it's a bit more heavy and thicker than these ones from Eucerin. And then if I'm on holiday and I've applied my Vichy, I would use my Clarins. This is the Spray Solaire, and it's the Sun Care Oil Spray that I just spray onto my skin. And one thing I really like about these ones from Eucerin is that the nozzle is very small, so it's easy to spread it onto my face. I've seen the trend of people putting sunscreen onto their fingers, but I don't do that because I feel like by the time I do that, I must then put more and then do that. I don't get it. So I like buying this because I can just easily like spread it onto my face, and I believe that putting it directly onto my face, I get more even distribution than if I was using my fingers and doing that. So I just prefer this method, but then you can do the finger method or you can do this method, whichever one it is. But what is important is that you spread the sunscreen all the way. So what I do is that I spread it all the way to my ears, to my neck, and then I take it into my hairline as well, just to make sure that that part is also protected. And sometimes if it's very hot and crazy in Joburg, I do spray this one into my hair just to make sure that I'm also protected, especially since I have braids, cornrows like this, you know, that my scalp is also exposed. Not that the evenness of my scalp is necessary, but for me it's just the protection factor of what I'm doing. So this is how I apply sunscreen on myself. This is all I wanted to touch on today. This is all I wanted to talk about today, and I hope that it makes sense to you. But if it doesn't, you're welcome to leave me your comments in the comment section below. You're welcome to ask me absolutely any questions that you have about sunscreen, and next time we're going to take it up a notch further, and then I'll tell you which ingredients you need in your sunscreen and which one you don't need in your sunscreen. And then please do wear sunscreen, whether you have oily skin, dry skin, combination skin, any type of skin. And I would say that for oily skin, chemical sunscreen would be the best. La Roche-Posay has really good sunscreens over there, and the ones I've also shown you are also good. And then, you know, use also on your body. I wouldn't skip body sunscreen either. Just remember that there's a lot of things said out there about black skin and what it can do, and that it's magical, and the melanin is like, I don't know, Teflon, and it's like bulletproof vest. No, you need to apply your sunscreen every single day, no matter the season, no matter the weather, you apply your sunscreen. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on this sunscreen topic, which has been highly requested from you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it informative. And like I said, please leave your questions below. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe, smash the subscribe button and join the family. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.